between November 29th and December 1st, Jared had visited a local convenience store called Miss Tracy's Party Store located near his apartment. Video surveillance from inside the store showed Jared making several purchases, including ammonia, alcohol, and trash bags. However, it became even more disturbing when an external surveillance camera from the store captured Jared dumping something into a nearby garbage bin. When police searched the bin, they discovered more evidence: latex gloves, Ashley's person ID, and Jared's blood-soaked pants. The picture was becoming clearer and clearer now.
So when you start looking at what he's buying at Miss Tracy's and then you look at his apartment, it becomes pretty evident that Ashley was murdered in the kitchen and then ultimately dragged 10-15 feet and put into the bathtub, and that's where he did the grisly job of dismembering her.
Hoping that Jared's cell phone data would help construct a clearer picture of his movements around the time of Ashley's murder, detectives looked into the same. The findings revealed a startling detail. Jared's phone had traveled to Holland, Michigan, about 30 miles southwest of Grand Rapids, where his parents, James and Barbara Chance, lived.
We were with Jared on the same day that we made the discovery of the body. The fact that Jared wasn't talking to us, we hoped maybe the parents would lead us, to some of the answers that we were looking for. And so we go and take a trip to Holland. James Chance, Jared's father, answered the door. I explained to him that we had a search warrant, that this was non-negotiable, that his house was going to be searched.
On December 4th, 2018, detectives traveled to Holland with a search warrant, unaware that an appalling truth awaited them. When officers arrived at the doorstep of the Chance family home, James answered the door. However, detectives were unprepared for the offhand comment he would make moments later.
I spent the next several hours with the Chance family while our detectives and other officers and forensic techs processed and searched their house. His father was a retired police officer, and he made a comment about, "I'm glad I'm not investigating this case, that this is a tough case." And I started thinking, how do you know it's a tough case? What do you know about this?
Jared's parents stayed quiet, refusing to say anything without a lawyer present, but the state of their house spoke for itself.
There was tissue observed on the blade.
In the Honda CR-V, which was in the garage, we found a small trace of blood.
They also located a bloody shower curtain that also was connected to Jared's apartment in Grand Rapids.
Given the overwhelming evidence, detectives brought both James and Barbara to the Grand Rapids police station, convinced that Jared's parents might have helped him cover up the crime. They split the two up, placing each in a separate room, hoping that at least one of them would open up about what they knew or how they were involved. When Barbara's interrogation began, she appeared visibly shaken, in shock, and clearly worried about what would happen next.
I'm scared. I just don't know what to do. I want to be cooperative because I don't feel like I perjured myself. But at the same time, I don't know.
Barbara admitted that when Jared came to their house, he was crying and told them there had been an accident.
Can you tell me what he told you?
He said there was an accident. They had been drinking and they were playing with the gun and she got shot in the face.
Who was holding the gun when it just went off?
She was.
That's what he told you?
Yeah, but I said, did you kill her? He said, no, Mom, I would never kill anybody. I would never kill anybody. She was my friend.
In another room, James was telling the same story. Both James and Barbara explained that Jared himself had dismembered Ashley's body, moved some of the evidence to his parents' house, disposed of some of the evidence, and dumped some of the body parts. However, when they were asked about the location, they had different things to say.
But I didn't know the details, how much. He told me about the hands and feet, and I didn't know about other parts.
Okay, so he told you the hands and the feet. You didn't know about the head, you say?
And then he told me about the head.
You didn't shoot yourself, don't we?
I don't know. I really don't know that. I don't know about what he told me.
He told you more. I know he did. I know he told you more. And I know you're trying to be a dad, and you're trying to protect.
No, it's not about being a dad yet. I will tell you what he told me if I can remember it and recall it.
But your memory's good because you remember that officer having white hair and a uniform, so your memory's...
that.
The detective questioning James was already on edge about his shifting story. At first, James maintained that he didn't know anything beyond what he'd already shared. Then he claimed that his age made it difficult for him to recall certain details. But just when the detective thought he had a handle on the situation, James made an unexpected slip.
Tell me everything.
He said that and I'm gathering that there was a problem with the damn gun. And, and he said she took the gun and pointed at herself and went off.
Okay, let me stop you. You just said he pointed, and then you stopped yourself.
No, I said that.
You said he
I
pointed.
meant she.
I know, but you're making these slip.
James tried to backtrack, offering excuses for why he misspoke, but it was clear to the detective that he had used the word he instead of she when asked about who had pointed the gun. It was a small detail, but it revealed that James knew far more than he was letting on. Then, to the shock of the detective, he made an atrocious statement.
See, this is all interrogation stuff, and I'm not going to make a statement to the fact that we're all victims here. I'm a victim of this too, and I'm offended that I've been charged with a felony because of the way the system is set up.
Despite repeated pleas from detectives to both Barbara and James to reveal the location of the rest of Ashley's remains and give her family some much-needed closure, they refused to cooperate. Detectives knew that recovering Ashley's head was crucial to understanding exactly how she died, but the Chance family offered no assistance. To make matters worse, a horrifying realization struck them. On the morning of Sunday, December 2nd, 2018, when James and Jared had come to the police station, their car had been parked right outside. In the trunk of that car were Ashley's dismembered limbs. It was not just a gut-wrenching thought. It was now a haunting reminder of missed opportunities hanging over their heads. Ultimately, both James and Barbara Chance were charged with perjury and accessory after the fact to a felony. Jared Chance faced a much more serious set of charges, including second-degree murder, mutilation of a body, tampering with evidence, and concealing a death. While Jared remained in custody awaiting his trial, his parents stayed free on bail. Surprisingly, Jared agreed to speak with a reporter named Heather Walker from jail. This marked the second time someone had attempted to get answers from him, and Heather was well aware of how high the stakes were.
Just wanted to hear from you, give you a chance.
All right. I really can't say much, but I don't even really know what to say.
Well, what happened to Ashley Young?
I can't even talk about it.
You can't talk about it because you're so emotional, or?
I just can't. Well, that too, but I don't know.
Jared, can I play you something? I spoke with Ashley Young's mom last night.
Sure.
I just want to. This is what she had to say. Can you see it?
Because I want to bring my daughter home. They know, the parents know something. There are people out there that know something. I just want my baby. I want her to come home. Please. I need help finding her. I need help finding her. I do. I really do. I want her home. Ashley no longer has a voice.
Was Ashley's mom last night. She just wants to bring the rest of her baby home. There are pieces of her that are missing.
But I don't even. I don't know what to do here.
Although it seemed like Jared was hesitating for a moment, as if he might reveal some details, he ultimately refused and ended the call.
He kept saying, I don't know what to say. I just don't know. Well, you know what? I think he didn't know what to say because his daddy wasn't there telling him what to say.
Jared Chance's trial began on September 9th, 2019. The day before, he'd rejected a plea deal that would have required him to disclose the location of the unrecovered remains. Prosecutors knew that without the head or confirmed cause of death, securing a conviction would be an uphill battle. However, they were determined to fight against a man who, to them, didn't even seem human.
But then to cut through their flesh cut through their spine to remove their head, to take off the lower legs and the ankles, to take off the feet. These are actions that no normal, sane human does.
Everyone wants justice for Ashley. Problem is that some people want vengeance, and vengeance makes people act hasty and not use reason.
Jared's defense maintained that he'd not committed murder. Instead, he claimed it was an accident and the result of a series of poor decisions. However, the prosecution presented a stronger argument.
It's not an easy task that we have asked of you. Ashley Young died of homicide by unspecified means. I do not have to prove how he killed her. I don't have to prove that he shot her. I don't have to prove that he hit her in the head with a baseball bat or a hammer. What I have to prove is that he caused her death. I stood before the jury holding the sawzall and I said, look at the person to your right and imagine that they suddenly die. If you had nothing to do with their death, would you take this and saw their head off? Would you take this and saw their arms off? And their legs? And their hands? And their feet? And then would you proceed to get rid of all of this evidence if you had nothing at all to do with her death? And nobody would.
The statements were powerful, but the prosecution had two more tricks up their sleeve that sent a chill through everyone in the courtroom. These were two testimonies, one from Jared's own brother, Conrad Chance, and the other from Mario Nelson, the man who had the misfortune of making a horrifying discovery in his landlord's basement. Although Conrad was hesitant to implicate his brother, his eventual admission detailed a disturbing incident that had occurred just days before Ashley's murder.
When your brother and Ashley came home, the two of you were smoking weeds, did your brother take the gun out?
Yeah.
And Ashley's with you when the gun comes out?
Oh, yeah.
What did your brother do with the gun?
He pointed it at me and...
You're making a motion like you're pulling a trigger.
Yeah.
So he pointed the gun at you and he pulled the trigger. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Did you see him check that gun to see if it was loaded before he pointed it at you?
No.
Next, it was Mario's turn to take the stand. He testified that just a few days prior to Ashley's murder, he'd seen Jared with a gun. Mario recalled that during their conversation, Jared had made a chilling claim, stating that he could get away with murder if he ever needed to.
Conversation you had with the defendants that involved him talking about killing someone?
Yeah. He told me that I used to be in the Irish mob, that he knows if he ever got into a situation that he knows how to clean up blood and things like that.
It was never clear why Jared did what he did, but the jury took only 3 hours to convict him on all charges. On October 10, 2019, calling him a monster, the judge sentenced him to the maximum penalty.
Clearly a monster without any conscience whatsoever, and you are someone who is a danger to society and should never be allowed free. Accordingly, it is the sentence of this court with regards to the second-degree murder that you be committed to the Michigan Department of Corrections to serve a minimum of 100 years to a maximum of 200 years. I am purposely doing this so that you will not be eligible for parole until you are at least 130 years old.
When Christine was given the opportunity to address Jared in court, she didn't hold back.
I cry 7 days a week. At 18, I was told I would never have children by a doctor. I thank God he gave me the gift of Ashley, even though it was for a very short period of time. God gave me that gift. You had no right to take her from me. This is what's left of my daughter. If I want a hug, I have to hug a box and close my eyes and pretend that she is hugging me back. Dear Chance, I hate you. I want to rip you limb from limb and discard you like trash, like what you did to Ashley.
You do not deserve to breathe.
Unfortunately, Jared's parents didn't face the same level of harsh punishment as their son. Barbara pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 45 days in jail, although she ultimately served only 29 days. James, on the other hand, chose to go to trial. While he was cleared of perjury, he was convicted of being an accessory after the fact and received a sentence of 30 days in prison along with 1 year of probation. However, he ended up serving only 14 days. Before we conclude, we extend our deepest condolences to Ashley's family and loved ones. It's impossible to comprehend how someone could betray a friend in such a horrific way and rob her family of the peace of laying her to rest with dignity. To Christine, who lost her only child, the pain of this loss may never fully heal. However, Ashley will always live on in her heart, a constant reminder of the love they shared. What are your thoughts on this case? What do you think could have driven Jared to commit such a horrific crime? We'd love to hear your opinions in the comments below. If you have any cases you'd like us to cover, feel free to leave your suggestions. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Mysterious 7 for more captivating true crime stories like this one. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious.
Shout out to these incredible true crime lovers. Your support truly keeps us going. To the rest of the Mysterious 7 family, if you want to get in on the action and get a shout out, join our Crime Police membership today.